Find out how Senior Services of Southeastern Virginia is bringing the art of healthy aging to you virtually. Joined now by Debbie Schwartz with Senior Services of Southeastern Virginia. She is the Director of Development and Community Relations with the organization, who does a lot of great work in our community. And you know, Debbie, since COVID has kind of impacted us, we've all had to kind of reconfigure how we offer services that we do. And I know your organization is not excluded from that. So talk a little bit about how y'all have made the adaptation to the COVID reality or the world we kind of find ourselves in now.
Right. So like other nonprofit organizations that are there to serve the public, since the very beginning of March, we had to jump in, completely reevaluate how we were providing services to seniors. We are the designated area agency on aging. We provide meals, we provide transportation to medical appointments. We have social workers who make sure that all of their needs are met. Well, all of a sudden we couldn't do this like we used to do. Right. So we jumped in, and we, with the help of our transportation folks and about 360 volunteers from March through now, and in partnership with the Food Bank of Southeastern Virginia, Mercy Chefs, we jumped in and have been providing 3,000 meals per week. Wow. Since March. That adds up to about 16,000 meals a month, and over 30,000 since then, and growing. Our Meals on Wheels clients continued to get their meals, but we had to see how do we do it. Right. We had a lot of volunteers that went home and quarantined with the rest of us, but we needed to provide those meals, and we needed to make sure that we had the ability to do it. So we transitioned our medical rides to Meals on Wheels providers. We also had to make sure that those who normally come out to our senior centers for hot congregate luncheon meals and socialization, they needed to stay home. We needed to make sure they had enough food to eat, so they became home delivered meals clients. So in partnership with all of these people, we started delivering all of these meals at home. At the same time, our social workers, with the help of volunteers, have been doing daily check-in calls with everyone to make sure everybody's needs are met. They continue to provide support in other ways like they normally would via telephone, the social workers. So we've been making sure that seniors have all of the things that they need in the house, like toilet paper and disinfectant products, paper towels, making sure that they have all of their basic needs. And that really has been our main focus. At the same time, we provide Medicare benefits counseling throughout the year on a regular basis. We are part of the VICAP, the Virginia Insurance Commission program for Medicare benefits counseling. It's a free service. It's especially necessary at this time. We want to make sure seniors have access to health care. We want to make sure that those Medicare eligible seniors who have signed up for Part A but have kept their employee health plans, if they've lost their job suddenly, they can apply for full Medicare, but you have to complete paperwork, there's documentation, and there are timelines. Right. So we're making sure that people who have lost their jobs and their health care are able to sign up and do it right, so that there's not a lapse in coverage, because that's a scary thing. Indeed. You know, and it's an important thing. But at the same time, we want to make sure that seniors have access to socialization and information, and we, during the year, bring seniors together for events. And two big events that we do during the year bring together hundreds of seniors. We can't do that right now. Right. So our Art of Healthy Aging Forum and Expo, which we normally do in April down in Suffolk and Franklin. We've gone back and forth over the years, sort of settled into Franklin because of space, but it draws all the Western Tidewater seniors. That was supposed to take place in April. That obviously didn't happen. We normally do an event where we bring in about 700 seniors up in Virginia Beach for Metro Southampton Roads residents. That's normally in November at the Virginia Beach Convention Center. We can't do that. Right. So we decided to say, how can we provide these services, because it brings information, resources, entertainment, things they need to know while they're stuck in the house. Right. Or not, and we decided to do it virtually this year. So with the help of 3 sponsors, we are producing a 3-part, 3-episode Art of Healthy Aging summer series. The first episode, sponsored by the Wagner Macular and Retina Center, and Dr. Alan Wagner, will debut next Wednesday, August 19th at 11 a.m. via our website. So we're breaking new ground as we bring this. All people will need to do is go to our website, and I'll share that as we get to the end. And they'll click on a link, or they can access it via our Facebook page. Same thing, click on a link, and we have a 40-minute presentation. It's going to be fun, informative, bring resources. We're going to get people up and moving. I'll talk a little bit about who's coming.
Sure.
And we have Dr. Alan Wagner, who's going to share tips on how to keep your eyes in tip-top shape as you age and how to access care during this time, because even though seniors are quarantining, we're being really careful. The doctor's offices are opening. Dr. Wagner's actually bringing the doctor's office to different senior living communities and facilities, which makes it easy. He's telling people, whether he's your eye doctor or someone else, don't ignore your eyes. We may be in through the winter. It could be a whole year by the time we get done with this. And I know me, myself, I need to go to the eye doctor. It makes me nervous, but I know that it's important. And after talking to him, I'm going to keep my appointment. We have Emily Martin, an elder care attorney from the Hook Law Center, who will share information and answer questions about your protections, legal rights, and responsibilities around the stimulus payments that we've all been receiving. She wants to make sure seniors know that it's their money, and whether they're living independently with family members, whether they're in a nursing facility, that money is theirs, and nobody should tell them otherwise. So she shares a lot of helpful information. She answers a lot of questions that a lot of people have.
Right.
So that's really, really useful. But the program's also there to entertain.
Right.
So we have Carolyn Harper, who has been at some of our live events, and our audience loves her. She's a certified Zumba Gold specialist.
Oh, wow.
And she also has learned firsthand how movement matters. And that's actually what she calls her program. She teaches at some of the local YMCAs and at other local programs normally when we're all allowed to go out. So she's going to talk about the importance of that we keep moving as we go through the next several months, and whether you have some disability, whether you can get up and go walk outside, whether you want to exercise in the house, whether you're standing, sitting, she's going to show you how to keep moving and talk about proper nutrition and do a demonstration there. So she'll get us up and dancing if you can, or sitting in your chair and moving as we move along.
Sounds good, yeah.
So that's lots of fun.
Yes.
And then we have Anthony Haley and the Mosaic Steel Drum Orchestra, who will be performing at the beginning of the episode and closing us out. They're wonderful. They'll get us up and dancing. They have become regulars at our live Art of Healthy Aging events, and the seniors absolutely love them. They're lots of fun. They are world-renowned, and they have been good enough when they can make it to join us for our events, and they absolutely agreed to come be part of this.
Great.
So it's exciting. Our next two episodes will air on September 6th and again on September 30th. It's our summer series, but we're moving in through September. We want to make sure people stay engaged. And it took time to produce these episodes. Yes. We're actually going into a lot of us are doing things via Zoom in our computers.
Right.
We're actually safely going into a production studio and filming it there, so that we really are bringing a high quality performance to our senior audience and to their caregivers. It's available for everybody.
Great.
So we're trying to spread the word,
Sure.
so a lot of people have access to it. And we're excited. Our other two episodes will be sponsored by AARP Virginia and Anthem Health Keepers Plus.
Great.
Everybody's jumped in really quickly, and it's exciting. Our sponsors will bring resources to both of the others, but each of the programs will have information, resources, and entertainment. We want to engage the seniors. We want them to come back. If they can't make it on the debut dates for each of these, the event will replay during the day, and we'll repeat it throughout the week afterwards. But we've been really lucky that those who are able, our local city television stations, have agreed to rebroadcast after the initial day. So we will put schedules out for people, so if they go to our website, they'll be able to access all the information.
Right.
And what they can do is go to our website, and it's www.ssseva.com/summer series. They could just go to our homepage and click there too. But if they do summer series, they'll go on the landing page, and everything else they need to know is there. Our Facebook page is Facebook, ssseva.org, and they can click on that. On the day of the live events, what they'll be able to do immediately after the series is go to our Facebook page. Our speakers will be there answering questions live and presenting more information. We want people to share their comments, especially after this first one, because it helps us as we work on the other ones. And they'll have a chance to get door prizes. At our big live events, all of our vendors that come, we have a big convention hall, exhibit hall, and all of our vendors bring door prizes. So we normally give out about 40. That's not going to happen this time, but we do have door prizes, and we will deliver them to people's houses safely. It will be touchless deliveries. So we hope people will join us on Facebook afterwards, and we're real excited about it.
Well, I think it's great that you're using technology to really reach your audience. And the fact that I think the one thing you kind of stressed all throughout, it's definitely a team atmosphere going on here, both with your team and also working with your community partners and everyone to bring this together to make this great information, entertainment, resources put out there to the seniors to really, again, the demographic you're really trying to hit. And I think that's a nice thing to see in our community, people doing that, coming together, realizing these are unique times, call for unique measures, and I think it's great that y'all are putting this type of program together to do this.
Everything that we've done, so we've always worked with community partners really well. It's the nature of what we do as nonprofits, but since COVID hit, we've all had to say, what do we have to offer, and how can it mesh with what somebody else has to offer? Because the food bank has their huge space. It was a great place for all of the volunteers and the drivers to meet up in the mornings, organize all of the meals. Mercy Chefs was there. We have our normal caterers who cook our meals and have them ready for us when we do our Meals on Wheels and our senior center meals. But all of a sudden we went from 1,000 meals a week to 3,000 meals a week. So how do you do that? So we were really lucky that Mercy Chefs jumped in, and we had the additional volunteers that the food bank could help provide. Everybody went there, and we sort of said, who needs what? Since the beginning of July, that partnership has ended just because they're going back to more normal service provision. So we are now working with other service providers. Actually, one of them is Beth Shalom up in Virginia Beach, and they actually have a wonderful catering department. So they've been cooking a lot of our meals, and our drivers go over there and triage out of there in the morning with the help of the volunteers. It's unbelievable how many volunteers have stepped up. I mean, we have had 360 volunteers working constantly, and these are people who have said, I know I may be at some risk, we're doing this as safely as we can, but they're stepping up and saying, how can we help? And that's been unbelievable. The local sheriff's department, along with our volunteers, have helped with check-in calls, so that some seniors are all by themselves, some have families. Those who are all by themselves are getting these calls to make sure, are you okay? Letting them know somebody cares, and that's really important. Our social workers are checking in virtually, so that's a whole new thing. But some seniors are comfortable with that, some seniors are not. And that's one of the reasons we're looking to our city TV stations to help us out as we do this summer series. So it's been really neat. So, and people have just stepped up. We've been lucky to have gotten some of the COVID money to help do what we do. But community partners like Dominion Power, the United Way, Elizabeth River Crossings, so many folks, our sponsors for this event, have stepped up to say, let us help, what can we do?
Now, if there's a senior out there that's watching this particular program and he or she is thinking, I'd like to know more about Senior Service of Southeastern Virginia, you're saying a lot of great things. There's so many things that you guys do.
We do a lot.
But what's the best way for them to kind of take that first step to get connected with the organization to find out, is it going online? Should they place a phone call? A little mixture of both? What would you suggest?
Both.
Okay.
If they're computer savvy, and if it's we also are there for caregivers. So absolutely go online to www.sseva.org. That's 3 S's. And there's a wealth of information there. But you can easily call our phone number at 757-461-9481 and ask to speak to a resource specialist. They'll take your information, talk to you about what you think you need, and if we can't do it, we'll connect you to community resources, but they will connect you to a care coordinator and options counselor is what we call them, who will talk to you, talk to your family members, and look to see what can we do to support you. Our mission is to keep seniors living in their homes and out of nursing homes for as long as possible, whether they're in their own homes by themselves, whether they are living with family members who are working during the day, can't do it all. We have a lot to offer, and we do so much that people are sometimes familiar with one service. They don't know everything we do. During normal times, we take seniors to medical appointments. We'll drive them to our senior centers. We work with the local city parks and recreation centers and provide food, nutrition education, exercise programs. We do exercise programs out in the community, at churches, at different public places normally where people can access them. Right now we're doing them virtually. So if they go to our website and go to our wellness section, they can look at all the wellness classes we are offering that they can do right from home via their computers. I mean, it's amazing how we will always go back to that one-on-one service provision.
Sure.
But I think, like a lot of us, we're going to have a new normal, and there's going to be things that we do that while we do hold exercise classes back in our senior centers or back at a local church, there are seniors who can't leave their homes. Well, they'll have access to it, I think, moving forward through virtually.
I think it's great. A diversity of ways to reach your audience is the key.
Absolutely.
And I know that we've all, as we said off the top, have had to adjust kind of as we've worked through there. And I know when we start talking about COVID, I think sometimes people think about, every group in our society has been impacted in some way, shape, or form. But you talk about seniors and the fact of, if their family's not around or whatever, and they're confined to their living space, then they're really isolated, and that's not a good feeling to be. And the fact that you talked about the outreach calls that are there to make sure everything's okay, and just giving people an opportunity to connect with other people is very, very important during these times.
Absolutely, and we're even reaching out to the nursing facilities. The seniors nowadays, it's such a diverse population. You have your very active, healthy seniors who are out there exercising. Many are still working, but they're out there doing things. But then that's if your health lasts, your health and your physical abilities. If you are now either in a nursing facility or if you're living at home but you can't do what you used to do, we want to make sure you have access. For seniors who are living in the nursing facilities, we're reaching out to those facilities to make sure that they have access to this program and other programs. We are, some of them will be are asking us for a link so that they can actually provide it on their in-house, I guess you would say, closed circuit TV.
Correct.
And or they're putting it up on a big screen via the link, depends on their capabilities. One of the things that we're working on right now, and we're actually working with the Birdsong Foundation, is we want to look at those seniors, especially in the more rural areas, especially down here in Western Tidewater, who don't have access to technology. We're looking at how can we do that? How can we virtually connect them to receive services and to participate in programs they don't normally have the ability to do. And it's not just a matter of putting a computer in the house, it's about connectivity and about broadband access. So we're really looking at, we're calling it our connectivity project, and we're looking at how can we do this, and it's been really nice the United Way's jumped in to help, and we're hoping that within the next 6 months that we'll be able to provide that service.
Great.
So again, it's community partners working together to do that. But it's making us all look at that broader world and that broader way to provide services. So I think it's really going to change how we and other organizations, provide those service provisions moving forward.
Well, again, thank you to you and everyone else at Senior Services of Southeastern Virginia for all the great work you're doing in the community. The fact that you're trying to be creative and come up with ways to reach your audience out there. But I think the fact that y'all are continuing to offer services, figure out creative and inventive ways to make that happen and still make a difference in so many lives throughout our area of the state. I think it's great, especially certainly here in Suffolk, is what we're focused on. But again, the fact that the broader community, y'all are serving a pretty big territory, so it's not, it's a very huge undertaking on your part, but again, the fact that y'all are still doing that, and again, providing the multitude of things you're doing and making sure that you can continue to do that throughout these COVID times and beyond, I think is great. So I just want to say thank you to everything y'all were doing
and thank
for
you,
that.
Tim, for having us on and for letting us talk about these programs. We want seniors and their families to know that we are still here. We're still doing what we need to do, sometimes a little bit differently right now, but we're here and we're very, very accessible.
Perfect.
So thank you.
Thank you, Debbie. Appreciate your time today.
Thank you.
And that would do it for this edition of Healthy Living. I'm your host, Tim Kelly. We'll see you next time.